sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Good morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome in. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson, your host. Happy Monday. It is a wet Monday out there. Wet start to your spring break. Did you guys realize that? It's spring break, but with all the restrictions and the new norm that we're dealing with, who'd have noticed? While our campuses are closed and students are at home on spring break or otherwise, KHTS, in collaboration with SCVI and iLEAD Schools, brings you this special edition of Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. We're here to help you through this time to support you and your kids maintain the growth and learning. We're also here to help you take care of you. And we're here each day at 9 a.m. providing support and updates for you on this new homeschooling journey, this new distance learning thing we're all doing. And we're here continually curating and adding new resources for you on our website. Go to homeschoolinganswers.com. We've got everything that you need to help your children, your students, go through this distance learning experiment that we're all dealing with. And that's Homeschooling Answers. We're constantly curating, updating, adding new sources. I was taking a look this weekend, and there are literally thousands of things on there. You can sort by grade level. You can sort by subject area. You can take a look at tips for parents. There's Disney princesses reading bedtime stories. There's all kinds of great things for your kids, regardless of their age, from preschool all the way through the end of high school. So jump on homeschoolinganswers.com after the show, or even during the show while you're listening. Take a look and check out the resources that we've got there. And if there's something that you're hoping for, looking for, something that you think might be beneficial to you and others, why don't you email me at homeschoolinganswers@ileadschools.org. Again, homeschoolinganswers@ileadschools.org. If you've got a topic for the radio show or something on the website that you'd like to see, just shoot me an email and we'll get right on it. Well, here we are, week 4 of Safer at Home. It looks like we've all got a while yet to go in talking to our area superintendents, which we will continue this week, and talking to other experts, listening to the governor and the state superintendent. Sounds like it's going to be a while until we can get back to some semblance of normal life. So you should have settled into a routine by now. It's been 4 weeks. Hopefully you've developed a strong routine and you're no longer struggling with how do I do this, but you're starting to hit your stride, are you? If it doesn't feel like it, let's get to it. Let's jump on it. Let's start to develop that new normal and let's get rolling, okay? It's all about attitude here. We are where we are. There's not a whole lot that we can control about the virus, although we can help bend that curve, like they say. So let's stay home and take control of what we can. But this can be a difficult time filled with angst and frustration, or it can be a time where you hunker down and just hold on and get through it. Or it can be an opportunity to reconnect or get ahead or innovate. You know, the choice is yours. It's all about attitude. So what are you going to choose this week? Are you going to complain about it? Are you going to suffer through it? Or are you going to really make this a beautiful time and seize the opportunity that we've been given? I think of companies that have pivoted during this time, like bedding companies who are now producing surgical masks on mass scale instead of sheets and pillowcases, or automobile companies that are now on top of building cars. They're also making ventilators for our hospitals, or even at the local level, I think of innovators like DJ Graham Silver with Silver Tunes Entertainment, who's now keeping busy entertaining neighborhoods of quarantined kids for free as the Driveway DJ. Check him out at drivewaydj.com. So how about you? Can't think of anything? You think, okay, well, I don't really have a mass assembly line to start making things that hospitals need, and I don't have DJ equipment in the back of my truck, and it's raining outside anyways. Well, we've got some ideas for you a little bit later on in the show. Maybe you can steal one of our ideas, or you can use the concept of synergy that we'll be talking about later in the week to kind of ping pong off of one of our ideas and develop one of your own. So stick around. We're going to be talking about how you can help make the best of this time that we've been given. Again, you can see this as a curse, or you can see it as a gift that you've been given to really do something that otherwise you wouldn't have the time to do. Well, speaking of time, we've got a busy show today. We've got another superintendent. If you recall, just last Friday, we had the superintendent from the William S. Hart School District, Mike Coleman, on. Well, today we've got Superintendent Larry King from the Acton Agua Dulce School District on the east side of the Santa Clarita Valley, who will be joining us at 10 o'clock to share how his district is handling distance learning and how the students on the northeast side are doing. We'll also check in with our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist, Cristina Debray, who helps keep us mentally healthy. And we'll also continue our study on Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. We're on Habit 5 today. But first, we'll be talking to Amber Soto, Director of Mathematics at iLEAD Schools, to help some of us get over our phobia of math, and all of us think about how we can best help our kids improve in math. So let's do it. Amber Soto is the oldest of 7 children. She grew up in the Antelope Valley, a standout student and athlete who played varsity soccer for 3 years in high school. Following high school, Amber received 2 associate's degrees from Antelope Valley College, and later her BS in Applied Mathematics and her master's in education with an emphasis on mathematics from UCLA. That's right, she's a Bruin. During that time, she balanced her brains with beauty and talent, becoming Miss Pear Blossom. She began her career in teaching, running an elementary school play intervention program. She taught math and AP physics at Locke High School downtown. Excelling there, she became a math coach, teaching and mentoring other teachers before becoming an assistant principal in the Anaheim Union High School District. From there, she joined iLEAD Schools as the Director of Mathematics, where she has served for nearly 3 years now. Amber and her husband, Victor, and their 12-year-old son, Jordan, are new residents to Santa Clarita, having moved to Saugus just last year. She loves music and is an accomplished singer, and she's also a self-proclaimed escape room fanatic. Amber, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to talk to you.
Nobody does introductions like you, sir.
Right? You got quite a resume. Amber, first of all, before we jump into this, I know my listeners are wondering, what's a play intervention program? What did you do in that job?
So there's a lot of research around that when kids have gone through traumatic things, that a lot of times that'll come out naturally in their play. And so what it was is I had a room within the school that I got to decorate, and the only thing that they made mandatory, which is interesting, was a sandbox. So the sandbox was a mandatory piece. Other than that, they gave suggestions of different types of toys so that it's all different kids can kind of access it. And then we had certain kids that were going through different things would come in for 30 minutes, and I wasn't allowed to lead them at all. I could only shadow. So if they would say, for example, I went to Disneyland this weekend, I'd have to say, oh, you went to Disneyland, huh? You know, it was always a repeat, and I just have to follow them around with whatever they wanted to do so that they could work out whatever things were kind of heavy on their hearts through play.
Well, that's kind of cool, and, you know, especially with what we're all going through now, that can be really important.
Absolutely.
In fact, I can see how it might be really beneficial for parents, especially with their younger ones, to let their kids just kind of free play and just kind of be that sounding board for them and allow them, whether it's to just relax and develop their creativity or like you said, just maybe get into some deeper stuff that's weighing on their hearts. You know, as parents, it's really important for us to just kind of stay open, because you never know when your kids are gonna crack and let you in, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
But you are our math expert, so let's get into that. Why don't you start by telling us about your job, well pre-COVID, right? What do you do on the Maker team? For our listeners that don't know, the iLEAD Maker team is our curriculum instruction and assessment specialist team. We've got specialists in the area of the humanities, science, technology, and engineering, and in Amber's case, math. So what does your job look like on a daily basis? How do you spend your time usually?
Oh, well, On a daily basis, it mostly just involves supporting our facilitators, which is what we call our teachers. So setting up weekly planning meetings where we focus on things like the upcoming math content, how we can implement problem-based learning as opposed to project-based learning, but both are good. How we're addressing social emotional needs in the classes, anything that they have questions about, it's really just kind of a support there. And then I can go into classrooms, do observations, give feedback, and then also we always do ongoing professional development or professional learning for our people throughout the year. So we introduce strategies, resources, anything really that can strengthen our math program.
Okay, fantastic. And so you're in the classrooms, you're observing our, like you said, our facilitators, and then you're working with them and helping develop professional development. But now our campuses are closed. So have you been on a month-long break, or what are you doing now that campuses are closed?
Yeah, just taking a vacation. No, I think that this is kind of a time that everybody's crunching extra hard because it's such a dramatic change. I mean, it's essentially the same thing. I'm still supporting facilitators. It just looks a little differently now. So now those planning meetings are virtual. And so now we have a different emphasis, or maybe the priorities have shifted a little into the sense that we really need to think about those things that we don't think naturally about when changes happen, and that is that this really isn't homeschooling. A lot of people keep calling it homeschooling. It's not. Homeschooling is something that's prepared and planned for. This is really just kind of everybody had a switch mid-sentence, and there's so many extra layers of it. So, for example, even in my own family, my husband was laid off from his job, and so there's all these concerns about where are we going to go with that. And I know that there are many others out there that are having much heavier circumstances to deal with. And so we have to remember that and be gentle with that. And so we've talked about different ways that we can bring that to the kids during the Zoom meetings. So a good example that I can give you is I've been talking about, I saw on Facebook, I think it was, that there was a teacher that did kind of a signature come on and a signature go off to their Zoom meetings. And it was usually non-content, and it was something that had to do with healing. So the one that I've been kind of holding on to is, they talk about how gratitude rewires your brain. And so we were talking about how about the first, 2 minutes of the Zoom meeting class, just have each kid say one thing that you're grateful for right now. And, just kind of have that minute to take a little bit of time, but it shifts the focus. It's not like, okay, you have to do this math. It's like, we love you and we want to make sure you're okay, and we're going to guide you through this math. So it just has a different feel to it. So that's one piece of it. And then the other piece of it is, of course, finding resources and different things like that can be used online.
Sure.
Some of the main feedback I've gotten for that is that there's just too many resources. People are just kind of overwhelmed and don't know what any of them look like. So I started kind of a side project that's in the works right now, where I've taken a lot of those lists of resources, and I'm showcasing them. So I'm making little videos where I present a problem or a puzzle or something that they can solve. I can post. They try to solve and put their solutions in the comments throughout the day.
Nice.
And then the next day I can post the solution. And so it becomes this thing that we're doing together, and then I can provide the link of the resources. So it's kind of like, here's the link, but I'm also going to show you how it works. So I'm hoping that will be helpful, but that's kind of in the works right now, so stay tuned.
So is that going to be something that you're doing internally? Is it a YouTube channel that you're developing? We would love to, if it's like a YouTube channel, we'd love to post it on our website, homeschoolinganswers.com, so that all folks, not just iLEAD Schools staff, would be able to access that and comment.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly where it's going to go. It's going to go to homeschoolinganswers.com, and then it'll also be blasted out to all of our iLEAD social media.
Fantastic. So our families, our listeners will be able to access your genius through there. And I didn't want to get too much further before I expressed my empathy, my condolences. We're very sorry to hear about your husband, but I know that you guys are tough and you guys are strong. You're going to keep rolling through this time just like the rest of us. We're going to get through it soon enough, and I know he's got some valuable skills that once the industry picks back up, things will get back to normal.
Yes, thank you.
Of course. Well, we're here. It's interesting. We're talking about math today with Amber Soto, Director of Math Instruction or Mathematics at iLEAD Schools. But we're also in the middle of our study of the 7 habits of highly effective people, Amber. And last week we studied habit 2. We talked about the importance of having a personal mission statement. And I know you've got a strong personal mission, and I've seen you take that mission pretty aggressively, almost violently at some times. Can you tell us a little bit about that mission statement that you've got?
You know, the funny thing is I feel like I've had a lot of mission statements over my life. But, the iLEAD hiring process is very unique. And so they have you create your own TED Talk, which, by the way, to anybody listening, if you've never heard of a TED Talk, please Google and pick one and listen. They're fantastic. But anyhow, you have to create your own TED Talk that has your why, your personal passion, the thing that drives you to do what you do. So it really helped me kind of think about and narrow it down for this particular position. And I titled my presentation Embracing the F Word.
Okay,
which is hilarious.
Just a second right there. We're getting a little bit of cutting on your phone. So what we're going to try to do, Amber, is we're going to try to take a break, see if we can fix that, and we'll come back and talk about that. So we'll leave our listeners on a cliffhanger there. When we come back, when we come back, we'll get to Amber's mission statement and how the F word is involved there. And don't worry about it. This is a public radio station, so we're going to keep it clean for you. We're talking with iLEAD Schools Director of Mathematics, Amber Soto. We're going to take that quick commercial break, see if we can get her phone line fixed, and we want you to stay tuned. We'll continue that conversation. And then coming up later on, we'll share some ideas on how you can make the best out of this time. And later on, Superintendent Larry King from the Acton Agua Dulce School District. Now, for more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley, I want you to go to hometownstation.com and click on the red banner. There you'll find tips on our economy, health updates, special business hours, and much, much more. That's hometownstation.com. You're listening to SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson, on your hometown station, KHTS.
Grocery stores remain open during the safe-at-home order. However, please follow the guidelines on hours and social distancing. In the face of a massive spike in demand from Santa Clarita shoppers for essentials, some Santa Clarita grocers have adjusted hours to deal with expanded stocking needs and to give employers an opportunity to take care of themselves, and in some cases to offer a shopping time slot to those most vulnerable to coronavirus, COVID-19. In addition to adjusting their hours, all Vallarta supermarket locations are expected to be open from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. exclusively for those 65 or over, pregnant women, and those with disabilities. Santa Clarita locations can be found in Newhall on Lyons Avenue and in Canyon Country on Soledad Canyon Road. In order to cope with stocking needs, Vallarta supermarkets have also instituted temporary store hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the foreseeable future. Albertsons and Vons are temporarily changing hours in order to restock items that are in high demand in all stores, staying open between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9 p.m., according to officials. Special hours for people vulnerable to COVID-19 between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays are soon to be available. Ralph's will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., according to officials. Ralph's is also offering dedicated shopping for senior citizens aged 65 and older from 7 to 7:30 a.m. daily. Stater Brothers has new hours of 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., including the Canyon Country location. Additionally, Stater Brothers are set to open at 7:45 a.m. for seniors over 65 years old. Trader Joe's stores will be open from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. to support crew members in taking care of one another and their customers. Whole Foods is changing store hours from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. with special senior-only hours from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. However, hours are subject to change in the near future. Aldi stores across the country will be open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily, including the Newhall location. Smart and Final hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and local stores will now be opening 30 minutes early for seniors from 7:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. Target is offering senior shopping hours on Wednesdays from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., with regular hours from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day of the week. Sam's Club is open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. until further notice. Costco is now offering special operating hours exclusively for members who are over 60 years of age or have physical disabilities on Tuesdays and Thursdays between the hours of 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Costco is maintaining the regular store hours of Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8:30 p.m., Saturday from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, go to KHTS Radio on Facebook, tune in to 98.1 FM and AM 1220, or visit hometownstation.com.
Mission Valley Bank is a commercial bank in the Santa Clarita Valley that really puts the community into community banking.
At Mission Valley Bank, we strive to be a trusted advisor to our clients, and that means being an integral part of the communities we serve. We started the Give Where You Live program to help bring awareness to our nonprofit partners. We're more than just a local business bank. In fact, we're a full-service, independent commercial bank that is locally owned, community-minded, and relationship-driven. I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank, and I invite you to experience the Mission Valley Bank difference, where your success is our mission. We want to be your most valued bank.
Mission Valley Bank has been named Most Trusted Advisor Business Banker by the San Fernando Valley Business Journal 5 years in a row, and received the Business Leadership Award by the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, Valley Industry Association, and SCV Economic Development Corporation. Visit them at their Center Point branch location or at missionvalleybank.com. Member FDIC.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
I want to take a moment to check in on you. How you doing? I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN's chief medical correspondent. If you're like me and a lot of other people around the country right now, you're under some kind of stay-at-home order because of the coronavirus. It wasn't too long ago that a night at home with nothing to do sounded like a treat. But now you might be going a little stir-crazy. Maybe, like a lot of people, you're having trouble sleeping. Maybe you're snacking more than usual. So what can you do? Well, try and keep a regular sleep schedule. Go to bed and get up around the same time every day. Spend some time outside. It's okay to do that. Just be sure to keep a safe distance from other people. And last but not least, get some exercise. It's important. If you need inspiration, there's a boon in online classes right now. Or just go for an old-fashioned walk. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. I'm Matt Watson, and this is SCVI Charter School's Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. We're talking this morning with Amber Soto, iLEAD School's Director of Mathematics. And Amber, before the break, we were having a little bit of technical difficulty. I think we've got it fixed over the break. And to be honest, you know, we may have just dropped you because you were about to throw the F word out. You know, I had asked you about your personal or your professional mission statement, and you said it had something to do with the F word, and so we cut you off and figured we'd let you regroup. Are you sticking to that, Amber? Are you really hanging on to that?
I am sticking to that. I am.
All right.
So yes, it was entitled "Embracing the F Word," but in my case, the F word was fail. Especially in the word of math, and in the world of math, everybody's so afraid to fail. And anywhere you look, research shows that failure is often an important ingredient to success. Like, we have to fail to be able to learn from our mistakes, but for some reason we don't allow that in math. So it's seen as, if you get it right, that means you're smart. If you get it wrong, that means you're stupid. And especially if there's speed involved. If you're quick to get it right, that means you're smart. And that's not what it should mean. And so it's been my personal mission to really kind of spread a lot of the work that's been done by Joe Bowler about the importance of failure. You know, they've done all this brain research that shows that your brain actually grows more when you make a mistake and learn from it than it does from when you just get it right the first time. And so I really, really want to push that idea that failure needs to be an important part of the math classroom, and we need to embrace it.
I think you're absolutely right. You know, there's that old axiom, if at first you don't succeed, try again, which is great for building grit, but I like to go by the axiom, if at first you don't succeed, you're about average. So we need to get used to that's something that we all do, right? Now, you talk about that what can be a fixed mindset in the area of math, and you know, like so many of us here in America, teachers and non-educators alike seem to have this math phobia. So many of us are afraid of math. Maybe it's because of that notion that you're not allowed to fail. Or we just simply think, well, I'm not a math person, kind of like I'm not an artist, I'm not a math person. Again, that very fixed mindset. So why do you think that is, especially around math? Why have we developed such a strong fear of math? Is it because we seem to think that we're not allowed to fail?
Well, I think the easy answer is that it's just been taught that way for so long. I mean, so long math has been seen as a concrete subject. The teacher asks who has the right answer. The kids raise their hand. If a kid gives the right answer, they're like, congratulations, you got it right, yay. If they get it wrong, no, you're wrong. Does somebody else have the answer? And so it's just kind of, created in this mindset of how it's done. And then I think the second piece of it is that it's become acceptable to say I'm not a math person. I think that if people walked around and say, I'm not a reader person, so, it is what it is. I think that people would look at you a little bit more, well, you should know how to read. You can't just use that as a scapegoat. But I think because it's been said so long, and it continues down in cycles, the kids hear the parents say it and on and on and on, that it just becomes a thing. But I will tell you, and you probably know this, Matt, is that I never let people say I'm not a math person around me.
That's right.
I always tell them about the research that's out there, which has proven that that's not a thing. And I tell them that they have to say, I'm not a math person yet, or I wasn't given the proper foundation to access that, which is a lot heavier to say than just say yet.
That's interesting.
But you get the idea.
Yeah, next hour we're going to be talking to Larry King from Acton Agua Dulce School District, and part of his journey is that he really did struggle with math, but he used that to develop grit, and I think he would say, rather than I'm not a math person, math is one of the areas where I have to work hardest, and I think that's a great way of framing things, especially for our kids that may have some of those frustrations. Are there other ways that we can cure that besides just shifting our mindset?
Well, I think the biggest piece of the puzzle is education around it. I don't think people realize all the brain research that's been done. I know a lot of people know Carol Dweck, who wrote Growth Mindset.
Yep.
But what a lot of people don't know is that she teaches at Stanford, and she works with Joe Bowler, who's also at Stanford. Joe Bowler is known for her work in math, and Carol Dweck said to her, one of the main places we see fixed mindset is in math. So they worked together and did some research around it, and then Joe Bowler wrote a book called Mathematical Mindsets, which is fantastic. I recommend it to everybody because it's really important and eye-opening. But the thing is they've done all kinds of work around what happens when they shift what I was talking about before, where they make it okay to make mistakes, and they really emphasize the brain research around, hey, when you make mistakes, your brain is growing, so that's a good thing. Joe Bowler even said something that made me a little uncomfortable in her book. She said, if your kid comes home with 100%, you should say to them, oh, that's a shame you didn't get to learn anything.
Wow.
I don't think I could say that to my child, but it does hit home the point.
Right.
That where is our emphasis? If they're getting 100%, it means they're not being challenged, and we need to make it the norm that taking challenges and taking risks is a good thing, even if it means we don't get that 100%, that it's better to take a risk and get a lower grade than it is to not and get 100%. So I think that's the first piece of the puzzle. But then we need to lay things in place. We can't just assume that it's going to work by throwing it out there. So we need to make sure that the classroom environment feels safe. We need to make sure kids aren't afraid that they're going to be made fun of or laughed at or criticized for getting answers wrong. We need to make sure that there are developed opportunities to fail, where it's actually kind of a talk through of, these are places we're going to make mistakes, now let's learn from them. Or what's your favorite mistake, where you can talk about that. So there's a lot of things. And then I think the last piece of that puzzle is that we need to bring the fun to math. I think when people think of math, they don't think of it as fun. And I'm a very balanced person. I don't believe in gamifying everything. I think sometimes kids need to learn to do things for the sake of doing them. But if we have fun with it, they're going to be a lot more willing to access it. So simple things like, we talk about fact fluency and the importance of, like knowing their multiplication tables. Let me talk about that. Instead of sitting them down and having them do a worksheet, why don't you give them them a pair of dice and have them roll them and then multiply those two numbers together. Or a deck of cards, shuffle them, pull the top two cards. You can put values for the face cards and multiply those. Or dominoes, where they have to first add the pips on each domino and then multiply those two. Those are three really simple things, but they're going to do the same amount of problems. It just won't feel as stressful to them.
Right.
Another thing that's hilarious to me is, the internet memes on Facebook that go around. That's those little face pictures, like a picture plus picture plus picture equals a certain amount, and then another picture. If I presented that as a system of equations, people would be like, yeah, no, that's cool, thanks. But the minute you put it as cute little pictures and as a challenge, everybody wants to try. So there's so many different things of ways that you can kind of flip it and make it more fun for people, and make movement involved. There's so much research that shows when you have movement in your learning, it gets oxygen to the brain. There's so many things, good things that happen from that. So I guess for me, without talking too long, is I just kind of want to reimagine the way we think of math. Because I think if we make mistakes, okay, and then we make it fun, and then we make it safe, and then we educate kids on why we're doing those things, we're going to have a much better turnout from the get-go.
Okay, that all sounds really good, and so I think our listeners are now starting to open up and think, okay, maybe I can get comfortable with the fact that I am a math person. I just struggle with it a little bit more, and maybe I can even help my kid develop some fun and some physical movement into their math time. It's one thing, though, to warm up to math in our daily lives. It's a completely different thing to try to teach math to others, isn't it? Do you have any resources that might help parents as they're now adjusting to the idea that it's no longer short term? We may be into this by some estimations through the end of the school year. And are there any websites that you'd recommend? Where can our families go for help when trying to teach their kids math?
Yeah, it's funny, though, because I do have plenty of websites that I love. It kind of goes, though, in that thing of, I think there's a lot of free resources out there right now, and people are overwhelmed with free resources.
Okay.
So I'll start by saying, of course, our homeschoolinganswers.com. If you go to the Maker Learning channel, that's where my videos will be embedded, where it will showcase those resources.
So
but
again,
I will also say
homeschoolinganswers.com, on the right-hand side of the page, there's a button that is called the Maker Learning channel. Sorry about that.
Yes, sir. No.
And then what other?
I'll let it slide this one time. One of my other favorite websites is actually Joe Bowler's website. It's youcubed.org, so it's youcubed.org. There's a tasks and more tab, and they have all kinds of cool things that are there. Like, honestly, you can just click and explore, but if you click on actual tasks under that tab, there's a whole bunch of fun, like, problem-solving things, and they list it by grade that kids can kind of dig into to try to find the answers to. They're like puzzles, I guess. They have Week of Inspirational Math on there, which is really cool. They have arts in math, which is really nice. There's just like a lot of things that you can dig into. Another of my favorites is openmiddle.com. The idea behind Open Middle is instead of saying, okay, this plus this, now give me the answer, is they leave it open so that there's many possible answers. So I think that sounds weird. Let me give you a concrete example.
Yeah, please.
If you're doing 3 numbers plus 3 numbers, what they'll put blank, 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 plus blank, blank, blank equals blank, blank, blank. And then they'll say, use the numbers 1 through 9 to fill in the blanks to get a solution that's as close to 1,000 as possible. And so in that sense, there's not an exact answer. All kids can access and plug in numbers and see what they come out with and say, is that as close as you can get? Let's see if we can get closer. They're doing a lot of different problems in that, but it really kicks in that critical thinking portion of their brain where they have to think about how do these numbers interact and what do I need to use to be able to get as close as I can. But they're not panicked about not getting the answer right because there isn't a right answer. You're just trying to get as close to 1,000 as you can. And it's really nicely laid out by grades all the way across the top. You can click on your grade, click on your topic, and there's a whole bunch of different problems to try. So that's a really good one. SteveWyborny.com. So that's SteveWyborney.com. He has all kinds of good stuff, too, especially for younger grades on that one. But one of my favorite things he does is called Esta Mysteries. They talk about the idea of using estimation, that kids are kind of like losing that skill of estimating. So he'll
I love that, Esta Mysteries.
Yes, so he puts like an estimation jar filled with some things. So kids have to give their first initial how many they think is in the jar, estimate. And then he starts giving these mystery clues. So, for example, the number in the jar is odd. If you add the 10-digit and the 1-digit together, you'll get 8. If the number is between 40 and 80, I don't know, I'm coming up with stuff and maybe those don't even work. But the idea is he'll give these mystery clues so that the kids can continue to adjust what answer they initially put until they get even closer and closer and closer. And so it's a really, really cool, and it's easy. You click on it, and he has the things ready to go that all you have to do is keep clicking, and it gives the clues. So it's done for you, which is really, really nice. And then the last one, I think I would say, is 3-act math.
Okay.
This was kind of made popular by Dan Meyer. But G. Fletchy has done it a lot for lower levels. But really, if you just Google the number 3, and then act math, you'll come up with a lot of things. And the way 3-acts works is they give you a video that cuts off at a certain point with a question that is mathy. And then the kids have to talk about how could we answer that question. So Act 2, it gives different things that they could use to try to answer the question. And then Act 3 is the same video played through to the answer.
That is really cool. Now, speaking of cutting off, I do have to cut you off again, Amber. Now, we're supposed to end our time right here, but are you able to come back for next break and wrap up? I know I've got a couple of other really important questions that our families are going to want to hear. Can you stick around for another 15, 20 minutes?
Sure, I'm happy to.
Fantastic. We're so grateful for your time. So we will continue our conversation with Amber when we get back. We've got a couple of things that we need to take care of, but do stay tuned. For more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley, please go to hometownstation.com and click on the red banner. You are listening to SCVI Charter School's Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Hey, it's Tori from the Hometown Morning Show with Tori and Kyle. You know, with the new safe-at-home orders that went into effect, many of us here in Santa Clarita have questions regarding restaurants, home delivery, and pickup. Local restaurant dining rooms have been ordered to close. However, home delivery and pickup, including curbside service, is fine, and it is encouraged. There are many delivery services in the SCV, including Grubhub, Postmates, Uber Eats, DoorDash, and WeGo. Many restaurants and these delivery services are offering specials during this time. Please go to hometownstation.com, click on the red coronavirus banner, then go to restaurants. There you'll find a comprehensive list of what our local restaurants are offering in the way of takeout, delivery, and curbside pickup. Continue to follow the safe-at-home order. Let's work together to flatten the curve.
This is your moment. Your perception has everything to do how this year is going to work. Many times your past experiences will dictate how you will fight your internal battles. It is not what others perceive about me, it's what I perceive about myself that matters. Remember, you will not be defeated by what others say about you. You will be defeated by what you say about you. This is the year of your remodeling, removing, and rebuilding your best self.
For more information regarding service times, visit iElevateChurch.com.
Your building sign is essential to getting customers to your location. Feathers can help you get your business noticed. Feathers, now in a new, larger space with plenty of parking. They walk you through each phase of your project with special attention to detail and quality. Feathers will provide you with a sign that you can be proud of. Your sign will draw customers in instead of having them drive by. Visit Feathers online at feathersigns.com or go to Feathers' brand new, bigger location at 26017 Huntington Drive off Rye Canyon or call 298-9442.
During this unprecedented time, Dunkin' has continually focused on the health and safety of their employees and, of course, you, the customer. Dunkin's committed to being there for you, serving in the safest way possible, following all national, state, and local guidelines. Here in Santa Clarita, Dunkin' has implemented carry-out and drive-thru services, in addition to curbside pickup. The Dunkin' in Canyon Country is open from 5 a.m. until 7 p.m., serving guests with carry-out and drive-thru services. The Dunkin' on Bouquet Canyon near Lowe's is open from 5 a.m. until 7 p.m. with carryout and curbside pickup. Download the Dunkin' app to pay, order, and accumulate points. Dunkin' is now also available through Grubhub for home and office delivery.
Hey y'all, I hope you guys are staying safe and staying at home. My name's Devin. My dad owns the Burger King off the 5 freeway and Lyons Avenue. We are still open from business from 6 to 10 p.m. We have both our drive-thrus up and running finally. That took forever. However, on that note, I hope you guys come and help support the community. But I'm not supposed to let y'all know this, but if y'all use the Burger King app, y'all can get some great deals on there. They have some great coupons and all that. On that note, you guys can also pay through the app if you guys don't want to use cash or use your credit card to run germs around, so you can stay safe for that. Also, on that note, we do have Grubhub and Postmates coming up soon. We have Uber Eats as of right now. You guys can use that anytime you guys feel like it. If you guys do not want to stay in your car, we do have our dining room open where you guys can go in and do takeout and then eat in your cars in the parking lot. We do have to make sure that y'all stay 6 feet apart. There are markings on the floor. But I do have a little story for y'all. I remember the Santa Clarita fires years ago. My dad got a call from Jerry from the radio station asking us if we could help and feed the firefighters. My dad told everyone, let's go. So all the kids, and including my mom, we all went down to the business, opened it. We were closed that day. And then we had to call up a couple of friends to help us make about roughly 200 to 300 burgers. And we delivered it to the firefighters to make sure that they were taken care of, because that's what we're all about, is helping our community. But not only that, my dad's also all about helping his employees. He did order some extra toilet paper for them to take home because he knows that it's hard to find toilet paper around here. He just wanted to make sure that the community and his employees were all taken care of. Please stay safe. I hope you guys get through this crisis right now. We're here to help. We're here to support y'all. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, y'all. P.S. I forgot to mention that right now, I don't know the exact time limit, but for right now, we are doing a special deal on the app, or you can mention to the employees that anything that you buy, including, for example, if you buy a Whopper combo, you will get 2 free kids meals without the toy, so we can take care of your little ones if you are sort of struggling there. We just want to make sure that everyone's taken care for, even your kids and even you. So don't forget to mention that, or go on to the Burger King app. There are a bunch of great deals on there that'll help you out.
Hi, this is Bob Schertz with the Way Out Recovery SCV, reminding you that during these unprecedented times, addiction and mental health do not take a break. If you or someone you love are struggling, please give us a call at 661-296-4444. We are open and here to help you during this time. Thanks.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. We're here this morning with Amber Soto, Director of Mathematics with iLEAD Schools. Amber, we appreciate you sticking around and doing an extra break with us. You've got a lot of really important stuff to share with our parents, and so we're grateful for it. We were talking before about how we can better teach our kids and help develop a better understanding of math, how to make it not so scary, and how to make it okay to fail. What about not so much that deep math instruction, but just developing that mathematical mindset, the mathematical thinking side of our brain? Are there things that parents can do when it's not necessarily math time, but we're around the house just doing different things and helping our kid continually build that mathematical mindset? What can we do?
It's kind of funny because I feel like I can answer that in 2 ways. I can answer that with direct math. So people always laugh because I can find math in anything. There was a picture going around that was showing a cruise ship in comparison to Mercy Hospital to see like how many beds that they would be able to. And I said, that's a math scaling problem. And one of the teachers that I work with was like, you have a problem. But in baking, there's fractions, and like there's all kinds of math we can see, but I don't think people realize that that's not the only way to develop mathematical thinking. Part of mathematical thinking is being able to create and being able to rationalize and reason and, use logic. And so, you can have kids create a lesson for you as a parent. What did you learn today? And so at the end of the day, they become the teacher to teach you what to learn. That's a huge piece of the puzzle that they need to develop, being able to explain it to somebody else. So you just taking that seat back and being the student for your child and having them create things. I always tell parents, try not to say, oh, that's right or that's wrong. If you do see that they made a mistake, instead guide them and ask them questions to help them get to that point where they recognize it themselves. Or give answers up front and say, how did you get there? It's not about the answer, it's about the process. And then the other thing is they can do a lot of fun things. Like there's all kinds of digital escape rooms right now on the computer. You just type in digital escape room. I did a Harry Potter one with my son last night, and it was good stuff. It was a lot of fun. So there's all kinds of stuff out there, but it's not just about the math. It's about having them learn to explain the things they know that will really, really develop that in them.
Yeah, that is so important. Now, we've only got a couple of seconds left, and I apologize, Amber. You've got such amazing stuff. But before we go, I wanted to ask, how do you think what we're dealing with today is going to shift in the area of education, particularly in math?
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know if it'll shift or not. I hope it does. I mean, it's no secret. People are constantly talking about how the whole world has changed except for education. For the past 100 years, it's been relatively the same. And I know there's a lot of advocates out there with the lens of math that are looking to bring other things in to prioritize it above some of the things that have been in there for years. So, for example, there's a fantastic TED Talk out there by a good friend of mine, Joel Walsh, who talks about let's create digital natives, a generation of digital natives, where he talks about how there's so much data. I forget what the stat is, but in some the last 3 years, we've collected more data than we have in forever. And so now the question is, how are they using that data? What are the algorithms being used? All the different things that kind of go into that.
I do have to cut you off there, Amber. That's tons of math out there, but we've got to get caught up on national news stories. You're listening to SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.
Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, real estate developers, realtors, contractors, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker is one of Santa Clarita's leaders, consistently listed as one of our most influential. When everything is on the line and you need legal counseling, visit hackerlawgroup.com.
Save water and save money. SCV Water wants to help you find your fit and take advantage of conservation rebate programs that will help you save. Water your landscape more efficiently. Replace your lawn with water-wise plants. Conduct free in-home water surveys. Cover your swimming pool and more. Find the programs that fit your needs and start saving today. Visit conserve.yourscvwater.com to learn more.
That's conserve.yourscvwater.com.
It's allergy season again. You've tried it all, yet your sinuses continue to be a problem. Try something different, something holistic, something that will really work. Acupuncture. Kathleen Keneally is Santa Clarita's acupuncture and innate specialist. She's been treating many of your neighbors and their children for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and pain. Find out how acupuncture can improve the quality of your life. Call Kathleen Keneally for a free phone consultation. 252-4100. 252-4100. Acupuncture. It really works.
At iLEAD Agua Dulce, we believe the most important thing a child can learn in school is who they are. Life's real tests are never standardized, which is why we've developed an individual-based curriculum that values exploration, cooperation, and creativity. As our learners grow, so do we. Our tuition-free charter school is currently enrolling grades TK through 7th and adding 8th grade in 2020. Your young learner will be immersed in a unique environment where possibility and self-discovery are at the core of every experience. The Agua Dulce campus features beautiful indoor and outdoor spaces for hands-on inspiration, including a robotics lab, a garden bed, a greenhouse, and a technology-based exploratorium. iLEAD Agua Dulce is conveniently located on the east side of the Santa Clarita Valley, just off the 14 freeway. Check out our homeschool options too. To schedule a campus tour or learn more about our programs, visit iLEADAguadulce.org. We're enrolling now. iLEAD Schools. Free to think, inspired to lead.
Dutton Plumbing, it's Erik.
Son, it's Mother. I was thinking, son. Wait a minute. Cut, son. I'm coming into your sound booth.
Mom, what are you doing?
I don't think we need a commercial. I want to let everyone know that we're open for all the usual services, but that we also care about what's going on.
You know, you're right. There's doctors and nurses out there I want to thank, along with the police and the firemen.
And as a mother, I want to remind parents to teach their kids to wash their hands more often and use plenty of soap.
Even our plumbers are using extra safety devices like gloves, booties, and use disinfectant on all the surfaces they touch. And you know, that's a good idea for anyone interacting with the public right now.
I just want us all to stay safe and healthy. And that they can call us for anything they need right now.
That's why I love you, Mom. You think about our customers first. Give me a hug.
Son, social distancing.
DuttonPlumbing.com. Hi, Kirk Stinson here with Plumbing by Kirk, your hometown plumber. I want to stress to you how important it is to get proper advice on what to do in case of emergencies. Always know where your shutoff valves are to be able to isolate it and have the problem taken care of on regular hours and avoid expensive plumbing bill. We invite you to visit our website for free plumbing advice at plumbingbykirk.com or give us a call, 263-6519. That's 263-6519.
My dad is the best plumber ever. Plumbing by Kirk.
KHTS, AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 10 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
Report coronavirus update.
This virus has kicked our rear end.
The blunt assessment of New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, even as new numbers show the growth rate for new infections and deaths in his state may be slowing. Detroit's in the middle of a dangerous surge, and Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer says medical supplies are running near empty.
We are running dangerously low on PPE. At Beaumont Hospital, we have less than 3 days until N95 masks run out. At Henry Ford Health System, we have less than 4 days. At all 3 health systems, there are less than 3 days until face shields run out.
Louisiana
and less than 6 days until surgical gowns run out.
Louisiana and New Jersey now fear surging weeks. U.S. health officials say this will be the toughest week yet in the fight against the coronavirus as the death toll in the U.S. passes 10,000. And the British Open has been canceled. I'm Mike Moss. Spain is seeing a reduction in the number of new coronavirus cases and deaths. And from Italy, correspondent Ben Wiedemann reports some improvement there as well.
Now, the improving situation has led to talk about Italy entering what's known as Phase 2, the phase when the numbers of coronavirus cases is falling and the nationwide lockdown can be eased.
China is reopening, and correspondent David Culver has an update from Beijing.
And while there is comfort to see restaurants filling up again, or families having a picnic at local parks, or kids being kids, playing with friends, you've got to wonder, is it all happening too fast? Will this continue, or might another wave of the outbreak send life here back inside?
Delta Airlines says it's burning through more than $60 million in cash a day. United says that figure's $100 million. On Wall Street, the Dow was up near 6%. I'm Mike Moss.
If you're worried about your cholesterol, hear how others are taking charge with Garlic.
My doctor said my cholesterol was borderline, but I've been taking Garlic, and it works.
I've been taking Garlic for years.
My pharmacist recommended Garlic. He said there's an ingredient in garlic that helps maintain healthy cholesterol.
I take Garlic every day. No garlic breath. Lots of people like you are choosing Garlic to help maintain a healthy cholesterol. Garlic, it's cholesterol's natural enemy. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
This is a commercial announcement. To get the latest news on the coronavirus, watch Newsmax TV. And make sure you vote in Newsmax's national poll, asking Americans if they support President Trump's handling of the crisis. You can vote in Newsmax's national poll and show your support for President Trump. On your phone, just text the word HAPPY to 39747. That's HAPPY to 39747. 39747. Let Congress and the media know your opinion. And tune into Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel.
Thanks for listening to KHTS AM 1220, Canyon Country, California. K260CO 98.1 FM, Santa Clarita, California.
Town Cleaners on Soledad is offering free dry cleaning for all first responders and medical personnel. Free pickup and delivery is also available. Call Mo at 250-1542. 250-1542. Town Cleaners on Soledad.
If you'd like to take your business up a notch, take a look at Elite Magazine.
Linda and Mo Hafizi, owners of our Valley's two leading magazines, the Magazine of Santa Clarita and Elite.
I'm so proud of Elite. It allows your advertisement to stand out. We distribute Elite to 50,000 homes and businesses. You'll find us in 1,900 local hotel rooms.
Discover how Elite Magazine can help your business. Call 294-4444.
Superior quality is second nature to us. Just ask our advertisers.
Hi, I'm Pastor Rusty from Real Life Church with a moment of encouragement. Can I take a moment and pray for all of our frontline healthcare workers? God, would you keep them safe and healthy? God, would you help them to be knowledgeable about the diagnoses and treatments of this disease? God, would you help them to stay clear-minded in the midst of surrounding panic? God, would you deliver them from anxiety for their own loved ones? God, would you give them compassion for every patient in their care? God, would you provide for them financially, especially if they fall ill and are unable to work? And God, would you help us in healthcare to exhibit extraordinary peace so that many would ask about the reason for our hope? God, would you help us to do good and to be good? We'll get through this the way we get through everything, together.
If you would like prayer, text the word prayer to 661-270-7788.
As the stay-at-home order continues through the month of April, Burger King is committed to following state and federal safety guidelines when it comes to serving you, the customer. Although in-restaurant dining has closed, pickup and delivery service continues. The current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can mobile order through the BK app for pickup, or you can use any of the delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. Burger King on Lyons at the 5 Freeway, now with service at 2 drive-through windows.
Grocery stores remain open during the safe-at-home order. However, please follow the guidelines on hours and social distancing. In the face of a massive spike in demand from Santa Clarita shoppers for essentials, some Santa Clarita grocers have adjusted hours to deal with expanded stocking needs and to give employers an opportunity to take care of themselves, and in some cases to offer a shopping time slot to those most vulnerable to coronavirus, COVID-19. In addition to adjusting their hours, all Vallarta supermarket locations are expected to be open from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. exclusively for those 65 or over, pregnant women, and those with disabilities. Santa Clarita locations can be found in Newhall on Lyons Avenue and in Canyon Country on Soledad Canyon Road. In order to cope with stocking needs, Vallarta supermarkets have also instituted temporary store hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the foreseeable future. Albertsons and Vons are temporarily changing hours in order to restock items that are in high demand in all stores, staying open between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9 p.m., according to officials. Special hours for people vulnerable to COVID-19 between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays are soon to be available. Ralph's will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., according to officials. Ralph's is also offering dedicated shopping for senior citizens aged 65 and older from 7 to 7:30 a.m. daily. Stater Brothers has new hours of 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., including the Canyon Country location. Additionally, Stater Brothers are set to open at 7:45 a.m. for seniors over 65 years old. Trader Joe's stores will be open from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. to support crew members in taking care of one another and their customers. Whole Foods is changing store hours from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. with special senior-only hours from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. However, hours are subject to change in the near future. Aldi stores across the country will be open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily, including the Newhall location. Smart & Final hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and local stores will now be opening 30 minutes early for seniors from 7:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. Target is offering senior shopping hours on Wednesdays from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., with regular hours from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day of the week. Sam's Club is open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. until further notice. Costco is now offering special operating hours exclusively for members who are over 60 years of age or have physical disabilities on Tuesdays and Thursdays between the hours of 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Costco is maintaining the regular store hours of Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8:30 p.m., Saturday from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, go to KHTS Radio on Facebook, tune in to 98.1 FM and AM 1220, or visit hometownstation.com.
City Councilman Bob Keller here. Keep it tuned to 98.1 FM and AM 1220 KHTS, hometownstation.com, for the latest information regarding COVID-19. KHTS will have both national and local news and information during this unprecedented time. For more, go to the KHTS website or the KHTS Facebook page. KHTS is also available online in the free app for iPhone and Android. Continue to social distance, only going out if it's absolutely necessary, and continue to check on friends and family. With your help, we will flatten the curve and come through this stronger than ever.
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, your host. You're listening to Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. You know, oftentimes it is the most successful of us who make the best leaders and mentors, but sometimes it's those who have had to struggle. You know, last hour, Amber talked about embracing failure in order to really step into an area of growth. And sometimes, like I said, it's those who have struggled the most that understand best how to guide and improve an organization. My next guest, Larry King, describes his struggles in school that started early on. In fact, in his career, as early as kindergarten, he struggled throughout school to focus and engage, and his lack of success led him to question even his own intelligence. However, rather than getting frustrated and giving up, Larry developed a deep sense of grit and a growth mindset, that growth mindset that Amber discussed last hour. After high school, he attended Pierce College and then UCLA, another Bruin joining us today, receiving his bachelor's in psychology. He furthered his studies at Cal State Fresno and Azusa Pacific University and credits his 4 years of service in the U.S. Army for his development of a servant and leadership attitude and teamwork, courage, and perseverance. As an educator, he taught 4th through 8th grade, served as an assistant principal, director of personnel services, director of facilities and long-range planning, assistant superintendent of personnel services, and as an associate superintendent before being named superintendent of the Acton Agua Dulce School District back in 2017. His strategic plan for the district, called the Gold Standard, leads heavily on S.E. Hinton's The Outsiders with his mantra, "Stay gold," which any self-respecting Gen Xer can get behind. Mr. King, good morning. Welcome in, sir.
Good morning, and thanks for having me on, Matt. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely, and thanks for joining us. You know, most of our area school districts are on spring break, which I'm not really sure what that means with the quarantine and the rain outside, but Acton Agua Dulce School District is continuing and still in session, albeit not on campus, and district learning so far this week, correct?
Correct. And I really want to thank you for the introduction. You have not only done your homework, but really got the sentiment of what I am all about and what I try to bring to any organization I work with in terms of, you know, exposing that vulnerable underbelly that many of us feel when we've had to call upon ourselves to have perseverance or the fortitude to see something through. And I want to point out that I'll talk a little bit about that more in a minute. If it's okay, can I extend a few thank yous before I get into that?
Absolutely.
So I want to just start out by really, during this very difficult, unprecedented time in dealing with COVID-19, just recognizing and thanking, you know, all the groups in our school districts. So the Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District Board of Education, President Ken Fallsgraf, Vice President Kelly Jensen, Clerk Tim Jorgensen, immediate past President Mike Fox, and then trustee board member Brandon Roque. They have been absolutely a huge, tremendous support to our district as we've moved through this and really allowed staff and trusted staff to make the decisions in a timely manner and move through this pretty expeditiously in making plans to support our students and parents. I want to thank our teachers who've just been absolutely tremendous. I want to point out that a lot of the things in newspapers sometimes are negative regarding the relationship between teachers and administration and trying to get through this piece with providing instruction in the midst of this virus pandemic. And our teachers have just been fabulous. We have one tech teacher at each of our schools, Nicole Chun, Michelle Van Ornum, and Chip Kralik at the high school. The three of them have been tremendous in working side by side and collaborating with our administrators as we learned about distance learning very quickly, but with their expertise, we were able to provide professional development opportunities for our teachers. We took 2 weeks from March 16th to March 27th. We asked parents and students to please be patient with us. We'll have hard copies of packets available for you during those 2 weeks. We will have online materials for your access, but if you allow us that 2 weeks to prepare for distance learning, we took full advantage of that time as those technology teachers at each site and the administrators prepared staff for March 30th, where we kind of officially began our distance learning instruction. I want to thank our technical team, Alejandro Heradosia and Cesar Ortiz. They've been tremendous in making sure that Zoom, Google Classrooms, Google Meet, working with Verizon, that all of those technical pieces are in place to provide the support needed for instruction. Food services have been tremendous. I can talk a little bit more about that if we have time. Transportation, I want to thank our custodial team. Everybody has just been tremendous about working in, making sure things are disinfected, classrooms, office spaces. Anytime a teacher comes on campus, custodian goes back and cleans. Food's being provided both off-site and on-site at our High Desert Middle School. Our business department continues to function. Our human resources department continues to function. And our clerical staff continues to provide support to the sites and central office as well. So we have a tremendous team here in Acton Aguadulce Unified School District. Very proud of our team, and so thankful for all of our folks that have really worked together through this difficult time. So I'll pause for a breath and a question, Matt, but I just really wanted to share my appreciation for that, and maybe follow up just getting back to that one piece you brought up on that grit and tenacity and growth mindset. I always like to point out that yes, I have those pieces, but I did not by any stretch of the imagination accomplish things throughout my life on my own. And I always like to point that out because for some people, having a growth mindset means just putting food on the table, getting out of bed and going to school. For some students that, like myself, that may have struggled in school, it takes all you can just to get yourself to go to that English class or that social studies class, knowing that it's not something you particularly enjoy doing. And so I always like to point that out because it takes a lot of support from other people and encouragement in cases like mine. And so I don't ever want to give the perception that I was some sort of lone wolf that just was able to gear up all this internal strength on my own and be successful and find success. So just like to point that out. And I got a bunch of failures that you pointed out a little bit of, but really I do cherish those failures because that's all part of the growth mindset. So I'll turn that back over to you.
Absolutely. And, we appreciate the intention with which your district and so many other districts around town stepped up with such intentionality to build not just something, to keep our kids busy through the end of the school year, but to really bring a quality educational program despite these unprecedented circumstances. I know we were talking with you before we came on live about how we really are in unprecedented times. Our country, our world has never seen anything quite like this, and for your school district to be able to take the time to prepare something at such high quality is really appreciated. So now you've got the distance learning model in place. It's been moving forward since you said, I believe, March 30th. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, so how's it working? Have you heard from the teaching staff? Are you hearing from the students and families? How's everything going? How's everybody adjusting?
So the feedback has been very positive so far. I have coincidentally, something I'm going to be sharing with our administrative team today is a tool that you can use through social media to garner feedback in a more direct and explicit way. So currently, like many districts do, we base the feedback on checking in with our principals, checking in with our teachers. What are you hearing from students? What are you hearing from families? And those sorts of ways to get feedback and complete that loop. So, but with this tool that I think we're going to be implementing in the next couple of days, you can put out a question like, how is distance learning working for you as a parent at home? And then you can do a data analysis and really get specific feedback from the comments that and feedback we'll get from teachers, from parents as to how it's really working for them. So, but so far it seems to be very positive what we're hearing.
That's good to hear. Now, I was reading last night a communication that you published on your school district's website, following the suggestion by Governor Newsom, as well as the State Superintendent of Instruction and the LA County Office of Education Superintendent. You've expressed your intention to recommend the closure of your school district's school sites through the end of the school year at this week's upcoming board meeting, and that has a little bit different meaning depending on where our students are. This year, my son happens to be a high school senior, and this is really weighing on him hard. He's starting to think about the cancellation or somehow shifting of prom and graduation and things like that. I'm sure that's weighed on your mind as well as superintendent. So have you determined how those landmark events will be handled for those seniors at Vasquez High?
We're in the process of it, and going back to your initial point that you brought up of making this formal declaration through a board meeting, just to sit in that moment for a minute, it's a big deal to close the schools to the public for the remainder of the school. You're talking 2 months of schooling where not just seniors, but 5 and 6 year olds who are very accustomed to going to school every day, and snack time is at a certain time, and lunch, and I see my friend and I see my teacher, and all that's off the table now. Yeah. So you really, this virus has really disrupted lives in so many ways, and I think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and of course we feel the need for to celebrate and honor our students through academic and athletic awards and graduations and proms. And those rites of passage, or those landmark events as you call them. But then I also have to acknowledge and think about the parents in our district and around the country that may own small businesses and have been highly impacted financially by this. And then, of course, our prayers and thoughts go out to those who've been impacted with their health, either as a diagnosis, or perhaps they know a friend or family member who's been diagnosed, or God forbid has passed away. So, I try to think of things really globally and recognize where each person is at in terms of feeling that need, wherever they're at, the need to walk across the stage. The need for connecting with people and maybe being isolated at home. So, yes, we've had discussions in the past couple weeks about how we might go about doing some of these events and end-of-year activities that are very special to our families, and they have tradition going back in some cases for a couple generations. Well, I've heard from parents that have talked about, well, I remember my prom, and they grew up here in the area. I remember my graduation. And so there's some tradition, some culture there, and then there's the anticipation of students for, 5, 10, or 12 years thinking about, I can't wait to graduate. That's going to be a special time in my life. Or I can't wait for the prom. I know the exact, dress or suit that I'm going to wear.
Right.
And so we have to find a way to make sure that happens for our students, and we will. We will. I've been speaking with some students even over this past weekend through email, and I really appreciate our students, and so we have begun that dialogue.
Well, that's terrific, because I know it's important, and I also know it's a landmark of our country, but also of this community, the ability to shift and do what it takes to honor those that are worth it. And I know your seniors have worked really hard for a long time, and we're not going to let this moment pass. So we thank you and the school board for working on that. Now, really quickly before you go, I mentioned it in our introduction. Can you explain to us a little bit about what Stay Gold moments are? You talk in one of your newsletters about that character Ponyboy from S.E. Hinton's The Outsiders. What is a Stay Gold moment in Acton Agua Dulce School District all about?
So really, these are moments in our lives, Matt, and I'm sure you've had plenty as you reflect back. They could be moments of triumph, moments of failure. They could be moments in our lives that made us extremely happy. They could be sad moments. I've had students share Stay Gold moments of the loss of a grandparent, or scoring the winning touchdown at a very important game. All sorts of things kind of come under that umbrella of Stay Gold moments, but that idea sort of bridges with and weaves in and out of the idea of growth mindset, and going back to our original sort of conversation around that concept, because everybody has a story to tell, and often the stories that rise to the top that we see on NBC or somebody makes a movie about and it hits the theaters make our stories sometimes seem very small. But our stories are not small. And when you listen to a 7-year-old, and we have these on our YouTube channel, anybody's free to look at them, but I've heard 7-year-olds talk about, remembering in kindergarten 2 years before when he hurt his wrist and his friends walked him to the office and he got an ice pack. And I mean, that was a Stay Gold moment for a 7-year-old. And that story's just as valid and important to that child as, a quote more significant might be to one that's turned into a movie. And valuing our students' stories and our staff stories is extremely important part of the process to me in education.
Absolutely, it is. Now, lastly, I wanted to give you some space. You mentioned early about how your food services department has stepped up. How is it that you guys are able to help your families out in the area of food services during this time?
So I appreciate that. And again, going back to the needs, this is a critical need for people. We have two ways that we provide food for children that are 0 years old to 17 years old. And I want to point out that this is all part of an application process for an extension of the summer meals program that you often hear about, where food's provided for children over the course of the summer.
Right.
So this is a program that's fully funded by the government and reimbursable. So we've seen the counts go up. We started at serving 47 meals a day. We're now serving over 300 per day.
Oh, wow.
So it just shows the climb and increase and need for that distribution. We have remote stops that we serve on a daily basis, and then we serve also at High Desert School on a daily basis. And we of course, are practicing social distancing, and all of our food service workers, of course, use gloves and so on. But it's in a drive-through format, really a grab-and-go format, just to minimize exposure and to maintain social distancing. And for some students, when I met with the food service workers the other day, and incidentally, there's 7 of them, and I gave their supervisor, Paulette Buchner, and each one of the food service workers a gold coin, which is part of our gold standard strategic plan, a way of recognizing our staff for going above and beyond. And they're making the day sometimes of a particular student or even parent just by having some social connection when we're so isolated right now. So it's kind of incidentally, while I'm picking up my grab and go lunch or breakfast, I'm also getting to see that cafeteria worker who I don't get to see anymore. So I think it's just, I'm so thankful that we're able to provide that program, and for the workers who help us out every day. Our staff has just been tremendous.
Yeah, so important. And you mentioned that dramatic uptick in the families that you're serving. It just kind of speaks to how widespread this virus has affected us all, directly or indirectly. And we're so appreciative of that. If you're in the Acton or Agua Dulce area or anywhere else in this valley, just jump online, check your local school district's website to see where food services are being provided, because we've all got those needs, and so make sure that they're being met. Mr. King, I want to thank you so much for your time this morning. It's good to talk to you again, and you stay gold, sir. We've got to take some commercials, but please stick around. When we come back, we're going to be looking into ways that you can help improve you. And later, we'll be checking in with Cristina Debray, licensed marriage and family therapist. For more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley, please go to hometownstation.com and click on the red banner. There you'll find tips on the economy, health updates, special business hours, and much, much more. You're listening to SCVI Charter School's Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
A social distancing tip.
While the CDC urges you to avoid close contact, like hugging or shaking hands, there are other non-physical ways to say hello. Wave, wink, use sign language, salute, smile, give the peace sign, throw up an air high five, do jazz hands. Remember, stay a minimum of 6 feet or 2 arms length away from others, and stay home if you can. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Santa Clarita, bedbugs are taking over our city. They've invaded our homes, our businesses, and most importantly, our sleep. If you have suspicious bites that appear nightly, or have a bug that you need ID'd, your best option is to make one call to All Pro. We offer a 100% guarantee that your bedbug issues will be solved with heat in one treatment. No need to tent or spray your house with chemicals. Heat is all you need. Call 661-298-2200 or text me a bug picture to 661-645-0540. It's time to sleep tight again, SCV.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call the Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
Grocery stores remain open during the safe-at-home order. However, please follow the guidelines on hours and social distancing. In the face of a massive spike in demand from Santa Clarita shoppers for essentials, some Santa Clarita grocers have adjusted hours to deal with expanded stocking needs and to give employers an opportunity to take care of themselves, and in some cases to offer a shopping time slot to those most vulnerable to coronavirus, COVID-19. In addition to adjusting their hours, all Vallarta supermarket locations are expected to be open from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. exclusively for those 65 or over, pregnant women, and those with disabilities. Santa Clarita locations can be found in New Hall on Lyons Avenue and in Canyon Country on Soledad Canyon Road. In order to cope with stocking needs, Vallarta supermarkets have also instituted temporary store hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the foreseeable future. Albertsons and Vons are temporarily changing hours in order to restock items that are in high demand in all stores, staying open between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9 p.m., according to officials. Special hours for people vulnerable to COVID-19 between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays are soon to be available. Ralph's will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., according to officials. Ralph's is also offering dedicated shopping for senior citizens aged 65 and older from 7 to 7:30 a.m. daily. Stater Brothers has new hours of 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., including the Canyon Country location. Additionally, Stater Brothers are set to open at 7:45 a.m. for seniors over 65 years old. Trader Joe's stores will be open from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. to support crew members in taking care of one another and their customers. Whole Foods is changing store hours from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. with special senior-only hours from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. However, hours are subject to change in the near future. Aldi stores across the country will be open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily, including the Newhall location. Smart and Final hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and local stores will now be opening 30 minutes early for seniors from 7:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. Target is offering senior shopping hours on Wednesdays from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., with regular hours from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day of the week. Sam's Club is open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. until further notice. Costco is now offering special operating hours exclusively for members who are over 60 years of age or have physical disabilities on Tuesdays and Thursdays between the hours of 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Costco is maintaining the regular store hours of Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8:30 p.m., Saturday from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, go to KHTS Radio on Facebook, tune in to 98.1 FM and AM 1220, or visit hometownstation.com.
Aloha, friends. Go check out Honu Coffee, home of the best cold brew coffee. What makes their coffee special is how their organic coffee beans are infused with nitrogen to create a smooth and delicious cup of coffee. You'll also find traditional bold coffees and island-inspired signature drinks. They're the perfect place to catch up with friends or just relax with your favorite cup of joe. Honu Coffee on Lyons and Walnut in Newhall. Stop by and say aloha.
And now for your convenience, a second Honu location at 23502 Lyons Avenue between Peachland and Apple.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson. You're listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. Well, I've been talking about a couple of things that we had coming up today, some things to help you prepare and make you a better you. We've got two of them, and unfortunately, I've only got one break left before our last guest, Cristina Debray, licensed marriage and family therapist, and I know that she's got some important things that she wants to talk with us about today. So Shane, my board op, and I flipped a coin over the break, and we made a determination. What we're going to do is we're going to continue our study on the 7 habits of highly effective people tomorrow. We're going to push habit 5 to tomorrow, and I want to talk to you today about what you're doing to seize this opportunity that we've been given. Remember, we talked about at the top of last hour how we can look at this as a frustrating and constraining time, or we can look at it as a great opportunity. Many of us find ourselves suddenly with extra time on our hands. Are you like that? Whether it's because we're working less, or maybe we're working from home, and so we no longer have that long commute that we used to. Or even if we're still working full time and maybe, like myself, your hours have even extended, your weekends are suspiciously wide open all of a sudden. So there's a great opportunity for all of us that we can really grab onto and embrace, rather than just spending the time going through. And I saw a friend of mine post over the weekend, okay, well, I'm done with Netflix. What do I do now? There's some great movies out there, and I enjoyed a couple over the weekend myself, but to say that we're going to spend the next several weeks or months on the couch watching movies is not necessarily the best use of this time. So it's a great opportunity for us. How are you taking advantage of it? I want to issue a challenge to you. I want you to challenge you to challenge yourself. Now, what does a challenge mean for each of us? It's hard to say. What might be my daily life might be a challenge for you. What you might consider normal might be a challenge for me. So again, I'm going to challenge you to challenge yourself. And I mean really stretch yourself. Okay? Some of you have already taken up something extra. Some of you have already decided to maybe use this time to get into better shape, which is great. Are you stretching yourself far enough? Maybe you can go a little bit farther and do something in a different vein, okay? Are you really stretching? Here are some suggestions. I want to lay some of these on you, and I want you to consider them. And you know, you may be able to take the time to take up more than one of these, okay? Read a book. What's reasonable for you? Can you now, with this extra time, get through a book a week? Challenge yourself to read a book a week. Or are you like my friend Angie? You can get through a book a day. Or what about cleaning up around the house? Maybe this is a good time to clean out your everything. You know, that's something that my son and I have put on the list. We're gonna hit the closets first, then we're gonna get to the pantry, then we're gonna get to the storage area outside, and then, you know, up on top and the rafters. So maybe take some time to clean out your everything. What about ramping up your exercise routine? Lose that extra 10 pounds. Break that plateau in your weightlifting regimen. Or what about adding that new practice that you've always been intrigued by? Yoga, meditation, Tai Chi. What about learning to dance? Always wanted to learn to salsa, swing, tap dance? I can almost guarantee you that you can learn for free on YouTube, including that yoga, any type of dance. I guarantee you can get on YouTube and find somebody that's willing to teach you, and hey, YouTube's free. Not enough of a stretch for you yet? You might say, Matt, I'm already doing 3 or 4 of those things. That's part of my daily life. Well, how about learning to play a new instrument? You can get a decent keyboard or guitar on Amazon for a really good price. Or what about a ukulele or even a harmonica, the clarinet? Again, YouTube can get you pretty far for free. Pick up an instrument and learn to play. What about a different area? You know, learning to code will make you marketable in just about any career there is. Take this time to learn to code. And if you don't know where to start, try this website, code.org. It's that simple. Code, CODE.org. They've got some great resources for kids and adults. You know, you can learn with your kids. You can learn to code. Or, hey, learn without them while they're reading and doing their math or things like that. You can learn to code. Just log on to code.org, and they've got 3 buttons for you to choose from. Kindergarten through 5th grade, 6th through 12th grade, or beyond 12th grade. So if that's you, just click on there and take this time. Teach yourself to code. There's lots of colleges and out there that are offering free online courses right now. What are you passionate about? Take a class. You know, I was looking into taking an in-depth American history course at Hillside College that they're offering for free. That happens to be my passion. And here we go. I'm going to really stretch you here. Speaking of college, maybe you're ready to go for yours. This could be the perfect time to go back to school online. A lot of schools are offering special deals on their online learning programs. You could really get a great head start on your undergraduate or your graduate degree. Maybe you're thinking, yeah, Matt, that sounds nice, but, you know, I've got 3 kids at home, and I'm just struggling to keep my head above water because, Matt, suddenly I'm the teacher. Well, remember, when we talked last week about thinking win-win, well, how about a win-win-win? Try a bit of project-based learning with your kids. It's got 3 great benefits that I know you're going to love. First of all, it puts your kids in control of their own learning, which frees up you and your time as they get busy with some deep and interesting projects. Second benefit, these aren't just fluff projects. You know, they're not just gluing and glittering. These are projects that can develop some important skills like researching, collaboration, analysis, problem solving, reading, writing, speaking, and a lot more. So strong 21st century skills, strong academic connections are taking place here. And then the third benefit is that these projects result in some pretty cool products that can help bring your family together, make your kids socially conscious, or develop healthier habits. Here's how it works. Start with a deep, meaningful question, and this works for all age levels. I had somebody asking about preschool during our last break, so you can go early on, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, up into high school and beyond. You start with a deep, meaningful, overarching question, whatever that means for the age level of your kids. That question should lead to a task that develops a product, okay? And you'll get an idea of what I mean here in just a second. Then you monitor your kids' progress, but let them do it. You know, that was one thing that I struggled with when I first started teaching project-based learning, was letting the kids do it. But thankfully, my colleagues kept telling me, dude, just step back, let the kids do it. You know, monitor their progress, keep them focused and going in the right direction, but let them do it. Now, you don't want to let the project go on forever, so do keep them focused. And then once they're done, have them present. Record their presentations and share it with other people, whether it's via email or YouTube or any other communication platform. But have them present. That's an important part of the process. Here are some examples. I saw a friend online who was talking about how he took advantage of the family of this time to develop a family cookbook. So maybe start with this overarching question. What are the recipes that bind us and define us as a family? Okay, and so that's something you can do with all of your kids. If you've got, we're going to be talking to Mayor Cameron Smythe. He's got a child in elementary school, middle school, and high school. This is something that all three of his kids could get involved in, answering that question: what are the recipes that bind and define our family? And they can each attack it from a different level or a different angle and build this together. There's also a really great article that another friend of mine shared over the weekend that come from our friends at PBL Works, that is the Buck Institute for Education. I'm going to post that on our Facebook Live feed. But the website that they just published recently is called Navigating Uncertain Times with Love, 9 projects for the whole family. And so they ask questions like, what's our family story? You can see the strong social studies connection there. Or how can we demonstrate solidarity with others? You can see developing that social justice mindset or that thinking beyond and outside of ourselves. Or how about the question, how can we create connections? You know, that can look different with a 3-year-old, a 13-year-old, or a 17-year-old. How can we eat responsibly? Has a nice health and science connection. Or how can we plan for a new reality? Boy, that can really go deep with some of your high schoolers. So all some tremendous ideas. Again, I'm going to post that website here on our Facebook Live feed. Just head to Facebook and search for KHTS Radio. You will find us here with our live stream, and I'll be posting that website from PBL Works. We do have to take a short commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to be talking to our official licensed marriage and family therapist, Cristina Debray, who's going to be helping us take care of ourselves. And for more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley, please go to hometownstation.com and click on the red banner. There you'll find tips on the economy, health updates, special business hours, and much, much more. You're listening to SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Green Thumb International, your lawn and garden professionals, have the widest variety of shrubs, flowering plants, and garden supplies in the Santa Clarita Valley. Condition and fertilize your soil. Water does not easily penetrate clay soils and may pass too quickly beyond the root zone of plants in sandy soil. Adding organic matter to these soils will help correct imbalances and reduce water waste. On Newhall Avenue in Old Town Newhall near Sierra Highway, Green Thumb puts the green in your thumb.
Time for a car wash, but fearful of the scratches that go along with it? Canny Car Wash and Valencia Car Wash proudly use 100% lamb's cloth to prevent scratches and provide the best wash possible. Both locations use environmentally friendly solutions to wash and wax your vehicle, and they both accept all other car wash coupons. Give your vehicle the wash it deserves. Visit Canny Car Wash on Soledad across from Edwards Cinema, or Valencia Car Wash on Creekside Road behind Target.
A social distancing tip.
Keeping your distance from others is important in slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are some fun things to do alone. Read a book, take a walk, unpack your suitcase from that trip you took last September, paint a self-portrait, catch up on a TV series, do a puzzle. Remember, we should all stay home to lower the risk for everyone. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
As the stay-at-home order continues through the month of April, Burger King is committed to following state and federal safety guidelines when it comes to serving you, the customer. Although in-restaurant dining has closed, pickup and delivery service continues. The current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can mobile order through the BK app for pickup, or you can use any of the delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. Burger King on Lyons at the 5 freeway, now with service at 2 drive-through windows.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to your hometown station, KHTS. This is Matt Watson with SCVI and iLEAD Schools Homeschooling Answers. Here, a special edition of Eye on the Valley. We're joined now by Cristina Debray, a licensed marriage and family therapist with a remarkable story of resilience and determination. She's a graduate of Cal State Northridge and Pepperdine University who practices here in Valencia. She's studied extensively in all kinds of areas that kids and adults alike can often suffer from, like trauma, phobias, attachment disorder, grief, child and adolescent interventions. She's got more than 18 years of speaking experience and works closely with medical professionals, organizations, patients, schools, parents, and business professionals. Christina, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you.
It's good to talk to you again. You know, Christina, the last couple of weeks we've talked about a wide variety of issues for parents to look out for in their kids. We've really focused on kids, and I know that this is hitting our kids really hard. None of them are able to be at school, and they're dealing with things in different ways. But we'd like to shift. We'd like to transition a little bit this week and talk about adults and their needs, because you know, if the adult at home ain't right, then it's tough for kids to get what they need. So can we start with talking, first of all, what's different about adults and kids in respect to caring for their mental health?
So when we think about the difference between adults and kids, one of the things that I like to reference is Erikson's stages of psychosocial development. So what he talked about was that different ages in our life, we are dealing with different existential questions. So as a baby, it's, hey, can I trust the world, right? We're learning about feeding and abandonment.
Okay.
Toddlers are learning about toilet training. Okay, so when we reach adult life, early adulthood is about intimacy versus isolation, right? So the focus is on family, love, partners. Okay, middle adulthood is about household, work, parenting, okay? And then late adulthood is about reflecting on your life and understanding, hey, trying to figure out, did I make my life count?
Okay. So how does this affect our needs when it comes to what we're dealing with now? You know, we spoke last break with the superintendent of Acton Agua Dulce School District, Larry King, and we were kind of reflecting on how we're really in uncharted territory. You know, he and I were talking off the air about how sure, we've been through scary times. I remember talking to my parents about the Cuban Missile Crisis, but when it comes down to it, that was 3 days. We're now into week 4 of this safer at home. We talked about World War, and yes, I've been watching a lot of documentaries on World War II, and that was obviously a devastating time in our world's history that took a lot of lives, hopefully many, many, many times more than will be touched by this virus. But as a society here in America, sports still carried on. We still had that semblance of normalcy to help keep us centered, but we're in uncharted territory now. How does this whole situation with quarantine and staying home with our family, maybe having to work from home, and then also be that quasi-teacher at home, how is all this stuff affecting and impacting adults?
Well, I think that what my understanding and what I focus on in my work is knowing about how it affects an individual's psychological state. So even though this is unprecedented in terms of the fact that it's impacting the entire world, and that all of these things like sports and social activities are all closed in a way that they might not have been across the entire world before, I think it's important to remember that humanity has gone through long periods of stress before, right? So our focus should be, from a psychological standpoint, of understanding resilience and understanding, hey, even though this hasn't happened before, other things have happened that have impacted an individual's central nervous system the way that this has. And if other people have gotten past it, I can get past it too. And knowing that life does go on. So we're talking about maybe there are normal things not going on. Maybe there are, sports are not going on, school activities, work gatherings, work travel trips, whatever it is, but there still are normal things like going and taking a shower, going and making breakfast, right? Going and taking a walk. So there still is some normal things, and it's a lot easier to focus on the things that we've lost than the things that we haven't lost. And so it's important to bring attention to the things that we have not lost and the things that we still have.
I think that is really important. But it is more than just keeping a stiff upper lip and looking at the bright side, right? Are there some things I guess I'm asking, what can we do to help take care of us? Last week we talked about recognizing warning signs in our kids. How do we recognize when maybe we're going a little bit stir crazy, or when we're really stressed out? I find myself, COVID or no COVID, I find myself locking myself in the bathroom sometimes and just saying, I need a minute. What are some things that adults can do when everything else is pressing? Work might still be pressing on us. Family's pressing on us now more than ever. Maybe if you're like myself, a single parent, you're all of a sudden preparing 3 meals a day rather than maybe 1 or 2, and you're doing it even a lot more often than you used to. As things are getting really pressing and things, this situation wears on, are there things that we can do specifically to help us decompress, to help us process, to help us maintain our sanity during this time, Christina?
Absolutely. So let me give a few tips of some things for adults to do. I would say first, limit your exposure to negativity, and especially the media. Even though it is important to be in tune and understanding what's going on and get updates, we don't need to be doing that 24/7. And the problem is that when we do that, it's going to replay bad memories and make us worry about the future. I would say focus on being a good news junkie. Focus on the good that's coming out of this. Listen to the experts. There are lots of different experts who have lots of helpful things to say, and so many people are giving away things for free right now.
Okay.
Reframe the situation. So when we think about, hey, well, now I can't go to Disneyland. Well, hey, now I have more time to spend with my family. Or now I have more time to do this project that I always wanted to. Or, hey, I'm saving this much money per month on gas.
Hey, that's a good point that I never really thought of. Think about the stuff that we're saving on. You know, I noticed myself, I've got a little bit more at the end of the month than I'm used to. So that's a good point. We've only got about another minute or so. Any other tips or ideas on how we can help take care of ourselves during this time?
Well, just remember that there is help out there. And if you're feeling overwhelmed and if you're feeling like it's not enough to read an article or listen to the radio or watch a video on YouTube, reach out for help.
Okay. So, Christina, how do our listeners reach out to, I don't know, someone like yourself? Where can they get a hold of you if they feel like they want to talk?
The best way to get a hold of me is to contact me at my office, 661-513-4857. Again, that's 661-513-4857.
Fantastic. So if you're looking for someone for you or your child to talk to, just reach out to Christina at that phone number or on her website, CristinaDebray.com. That is time, the time that we have for this morning, and it's time for us to wrap up. I want to thank you so much for joining us, and I want to thank our guests, Amber Soto, math specialist, Acton Agua Dulce Superintendent Larry King, and our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist, Cristina Debray. Join us again tomorrow and every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. We've got Mayor Cameron Smythe and Superintendent Jeffrey Pelzel from the Newhall School District joining us tomorrow, along with mortgage advisor Fred Arnold. You're listening to SCVI Charter School's Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson, and this is your hometown station, KHTS.